Joining us now for this week's Roundtable Chats is current senior Texas A&M softball player Trinity Cannon. Trinity is one of the four Aggies that have played in over 175 career games for the Aggies over her 4-year span, which is insane. Saw that earlier. Ella didn't even know that, but how are we doing?
I'm good. I was just my Rylan, my roommate, just hit her 200th mark. So I was looking at when mine was, and it's coming up this week at not this weekend, but the next week. It's Ole Miss on Senior Day. So I was
I
like,
was gonna ask if y'all
timing.
pay attention to that or not.
I did it until I saw hers come up. I was like, okay, mine's not too far behind.
Okay, there you go.
That's awesome. That's insane, especially because I was looking. I think your freshman year, you looks like you probably played a good amount here and there, but it's really just over the last 3 years too. That
Yeah, I know. I
those
feel like 200's not enough. I feel like we've already played 200 this season.
It's funny. So before we get going with our questions, is this your last year? Are you done after this? Yep.
Yeah, sadly I don't get a COVID year, but yeah, COVID was my senior year. So yeah,
Gotcha.
got a couple more left in me.
There you go. There you go. Well, we'll kind of get it started off with kind of just telling everyone about your journey in softball, kind of how you ended up at A&M, and then what position or positions you may play for A&M.
I started playing when I was 4 years old. My older brother played baseball, and so we kind of just grew up playing together, playing catch together and stuff. And then the recruiting roles are a lot different than they are now, which I wish we had those roles because I was getting recruited in sixth grade because I was, I think, 12 at that time, and I was playing like 16, 18U. So coaches were coming to look at my teammates, and then they would see me, and my coach is like, yeah, I don't think I don't think that's who you want to see right now. And so Coach Evans had come to watch one of my teammates play, and she was like, so who's Trinity Cannon? And he was like, well, that's our sixth grader. And she was like, oh wow. And then she came back for another game, and she just kept coming to watch me. And I remember having like the most terrible game of my life. And I was like crying to my coach, sixth grader crying to my coach. I was like, she's not gonna want me anymore. And he was like, Trent, calm down. Like, that's what they want to see. They want to see how you are as a teammate and stuff. I was like, okay, okay. And so finally, I think in eighth grade, I came on a visit here, and I loved the campus. I actually committed to the stadium that we used to have, which is worse than my high school one. And so now the one we have is like $28 million stadium, one of the best in the country. And so I'm very thankful for it. But I went on a visit here, and I went on visits to OU, and I'm so thankful that I chose here just because the education and my Aggie ring and the Aggie network is so real here. So
That's awesome. That is, well, and obviously, it was one of the top facilities until this year. We know who has the
All right, easy over there,
hey,
Sooner.
let me
Easy
just
over there,
tell you,
Sooner. Calm
I
down,
was in
bud.
the training room. I was in the training room when Patty Gasso came to look at our blueprints to build their stadium.
That's right. That's right. Tell him to take it easy over there.
That's right. Well, obviously been at Texas A&M for 4 years now. Kind of just tell us what it's been like at those the last 4 years at A&M, and kind of what areas do you think you've really grown the most in since you were a freshman?
I think just taking on that leadership role. I was here during the coaching change, and I really loved my coaches. And it was at first, before I even knew what coaches were coming in, I was like, oh, I'm putting my foot down. Like, I'm just so sad that they're gone. And then Coach Ford came in like with loving arms, and I was like, okay, I love this whole entire coaching staff and stuff. And so I think just like learning how to be a great teammate even when I'm not playing, and just learning to welcome the freshmen in, because I remember when I was in those shoes, and I was like, oh my God, they're all gonna hate me. But I think this year's team is just like one big family. And so I think just always welcoming in the younger ones, especially next year. I think they have 10 freshmen coming in. And I was like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you kind of mentioned what it means to be at A&M, and that's your top choice. But can you walk us through a typical day of the life as a student athlete at Texas A&M? I bet that gets crazy.
Yeah, it was. And especially I'm an accounting major too. So it's been a little tough these past 4 years. But now that I'm in upper level accounting classes, my last semester, it's like classes are offered only once a day, and I have to go to them. And so at the beginning of the semester, I had a 9:35 and 9:35 to 10:50, which is my communications class. And we had practice from 2:30 to 5:30. And I had a class at 2:20 and 3:35. And I remember going up to my coach's office, having to tell her that, like, I'm scared. And she's like, you can't take those. I said, Coach, unless you want me to be under hours and I can't play this season, no, I can't take them any other time. And so I would have to go 9:35 to 10:50 at my first class. Then I would go and practice by myself and do like a hitting session with my hitting coach. Then I would rinse off real quick, get dressed, go to my 2:20 class. And then not only do I have class at 3:35, I have to wear business casual every single day
Wow.
because it's all these like auditors and stuff coming to talk to us.
What?
And so like I'm sweaty and dressed in business casual. And then I would get done with that class at 5:20 and I would literally run back over to like across our lot 100, get dressed and go lift with the girls. And so that's how my days went. Thankfully, I don't have that 9:35 class and that 3:35. So I still miss the first half of practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I still do a little hitting session before.
Wow, that's crazy. You heard it here first, folks. That's wild.
They're not even getting like any practice time with the squad is
It was tough for a little bit, but the girls are always like I would still be there Mondays and Wednesdays, and it's funny now when I come halfway through practice on Thursday, they're like, Trent. I was like, yes, I know, I'm here. Okay, I'm here.
that's funny.
That's
Well, I
wild.
mean, even those accounting get people that I'm sure and I'm there.
It made me feel even worse with all of these people talking. They're like, "Oh, how was your internship?" I was like, "Internship? What? Like, I do not have time for that." And my grandfather, the reason I chose accounting is like, one, yes, I did love math, but my grandfather was also a finance major here, and he told me I needed to do something hard like that. And I was like, okay, like accounting sounds like a challenge. Oh, yes, it is. And so, um, I'm in audit right now and I just cannot. I'd rather do tax, but I did end up getting a job because of one of the classes I took. I went to a career fair and I got to meet Soul, and they're a car company. They're basically like the Chick-fil-A's of car companies. Like they're all about service and like giving back to their customers. And so I went on one of our off days to the Sugarland Audi lot and did an interview there, and they offered me. So I will be moving to the Houston area,
There we go.
switching it up from Dallas.
Going,
Well, we had a question about that later on, but you just hammered it right there. So I guess we just won't ask that one.
Yeah, life's hit me pretty fast. My boyfriend, he's actually in Houston now. He played football here, and so he already got a job out in Houston, and he's moved out there and saving up for a ring right now, and looking at houses, looking at everything. So I was like, life's hitting me all at once.
There you go. Yeah.
That means you'll have to move that Aggie ring on over. That's what we know
Yeah.
we know how people are with their Aggie rings. They can
Yes.
you know what people say about A&M sometimes.
Yeah.
I won't say it. Just
It's
decide to come
tradition. It's all
on, but
tradition here.
it's
Well,
all
I was not up for my ring dug. That is terrible. I will tell you that.
that's funny.
All the
You
people
won't be,
posting their
you
videos
won't be
of,
participating in that or no?
I already did mine.
Oh, you did yours already. Oh,
I did it with my roommate Rylan and one of our old teammates Alexis, and we did it. And I was like, I'm not even. They're like, who's gonna win? I said, not me. I'm not even gonna put that on myself.
That's funny. That's
that's
awesome.
awful.
Well, kind of looking back at the softball side of things, obviously you mentioned it. The team this year's just feels different. Off to a great start. How do you kind of mentally prepare for games against tough opponents? You know, like SEC softball is pretty. There's some top teams in there, like this weekend versus Alabama, going to Alabama. What is that kind of mindset like?
I think why we were so successful early on and we're still successful right now is that we take on that underdog role. Like my past 3 years, we've always been looked down on in the SEC. We've always been preseason rankings. We're always at the bottom and stuff. And even this season, we were put at the bottom. And right now, we're sitting at third in the SEC. And so I think like third's not enough for us. Like there's always more to be done. And so like continuing to take on the underdog role and knowing like if they are going to see us as they're just going to like come in and beat us and leave, then that's not going to happen. And so even like midweeks, like those are probably harder for us than SEC because you can get really high for SEC weekends. Like it's a big deal, but going in and playing like those midweeks is just like, oh, it's a drag, but you just have to see it every single game like it's your last.
Right. Do you have anything like weird that you do on game days that like is a little bit different, or no? You just like pretty
I'm not
normal?
really like superstitious. I am like a big Christian and stuff. So I listen to my podcast. It's a new one every single day. I listen to my podcast, but my team's really big on Dutch Bros. I didn't have Dutch Bros until I came to college, and I love Rebels and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely have energy drinks, either Rebels from Dutch Bros or like a coconut Red Bull.
There you go. There you
Other
go.
than, I'm not a superstitious person.
Okay. So we get some weird answers sometimes. So I had to
Yeah.
ask. I had to add on to that.
It's like I would get I at first I did like I'd get to the point I'm like, okay, like I'm running out of things. Like that's not working. This isn't working. And I was like, yep, it's not that. It's just you,
Right.
Trent.
Going on in the next one, what do you believe sets A&M softball apart from all the others?
Um, that's a good one. I
Tough
think
question.
I know we just had a come to Jesus moment, because I think we've hit the middle of season to where like, yeah, it's getting hard. And not only like are we physically like fatigued, but we're also mentally. And so we had like a little come to Jesus moment that like, yeah, this is hard, but we can't, like, there's no more complaining about it. And so we all voted that we're going to love the hard. Like, yeah, we're D1 athletes for a reason. Like, we put in this work and stuff like that. So there's going to be consequences with it. But with those consequences, if we keep working hard, then there's going to be great reward. And we are definitely have our eyes set on hosting, and that's still in reach for us. So
There you go. That's good.
Awesome. I mean, hosting's big. That's one of the nice things about college softball and baseball too, is being able to host regional and then possibly super regional if it turns out that way. I believe y'all are currently ranked 11 or around like
I think we're at 12 in the
11
ESPN.
or
They're all,
12.
I don't even know. We're 12 in ESPN. I think we're still sitting at 8 in RPI, is what I always go back to, because like I said, like we always, when we see rankings come out, they're like, they just hate us. Like at the end of the day, like people are going to sleep on us all day. And so I always keep looking at RPI, because that's what they use to seed the bracket.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it was like Texas 2 years ago when they went to the World Series and they weren't even
Yeah.
seeded. So
Yeah. And they like, Duke, I know they dropped Oklahoma underneath Texas, which rightfully so. They won the series and stuff, but I was sometimes like they dropped them OU one time, and I was like, what?
yeah.
Just because one game? That's crazy. Oh, the
Yeah.
Louisiana game.
No,
Right.
yeah, it's softball has been very interesting, but with y'all kind of ranked around that spot right now, kind of what is, you kind of mentioned like that middle point of the season, what is that mindset within the squad to kind of make sure, like you said, y'all host a regional, y'all make that run to Oklahoma City to the World Series?
It's just the atmosphere that we have here. Like baseball is getting hot right now. I mean, through the whole season they have been, but I think just as fans, like us being able to sell out like we have, and having baseball do as good as we do, like if we host regionals, they're also the weekend after, and we can also host supers and they're at regionals, like both games are going to be like insane, and just the crowd at both. I really think home field advantage is a thing here, just because it gets really loud in the seventh inning when we're up, and it puts a lot of pressure on the other team. And so I think just the people here and the traditions here, it means a lot to us.
Yeah. Kind of to wrap it up. Can you share your most memorable either moment or game from your 4 years at A&M, or you've been playing for a long time? It could be anytime.
In high school, I will definitely say when we won state the year after my best friend passed
Literally
away
not
at
even fair.
40.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we won state. It was the first state title at 40, and it was like a movie. Like somebody had to have written a movie about it, but that
Yeah.
was probably the best moment in high school. And then in college, I know it was this year. Like looking back, there's been a lot of games, but against South Carolina, I hit the walk-off home run in the 10th inning against Elena Vaughter, and she's a two-time All-American. And so that was pretty cool. All the pictures I have with all my teammates at home and like throwing up the water and stuff, it was just so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, maybe you can save a spot for one, maybe make a College World Series run and upset
Yeah.
Oklahoma or somebody
There
like
you go.
Yes,
that.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
You'll have to come up here to the Oklahoma City, and play at that
Hey,
state.
I was at Oklahoma my freshman and sophomore year for regionals, and it didn't end very well for me.
As long as
We're
you
gonna
don't
rewrite history.
There you go.
end up here for the regional. You can end up here for the World Series. Whatever happens there.
Oh yeah.
But host your own regional, then you can.
Yeah.
But well, Trinity, we appreciate you coming on. Good luck the rest of the season. Hopefully, y'all keep getting out what you want. Big series against Alabama this week, and I know they're always pretty good. So good luck the rest of the way, and hope y'all make it up to OKC.
Thank you.
Thank you.